got you. I kind of wanted to talk about this case, the Abner Louima case. Abner Louima, for those who don't know, was a Haitian immigrant. He was involved in a nightclub fight, was arrested, and in the precinct, he was brutally beaten. And there's no other nice way to say it. You know, a nightstick went up his ass, and and the cop that was arrested, Volpe.
And 12 others they don't remember. Schwartz. There was another 12 co-defendants.
Yeah, there was another 12 co-defendants. You were locked up with Volpe at one point?
Yeah, it was yeah.
Can you talk to me about that experience?
So it was funny. So after, of course, my turn came, right? I went through that representing the movement, but I was still a king. So I had two lives to fulfill, right? The movement life and to keep the brothers moving forward, organized. And it finally came back, right? Hey, we got you on this bullshit charge, a conspiracy to be a lookout to a drug sale. This is why I was the big, and we're offering you 40 years, but 13 you cop out. And I was like, damn, do I want to go to trial and do 40 for being a lookout? And yes, people, I was the leader of the Kings, and I got locked up for being a lookout to a drug sale. But in that, the Volpe case went on. So I've not only been with Volpe in jail, I marched against Volpe. I helped that movement that you see with Richie Perez and Sharpton. The Kings were a big part of the 33 mothers in New York City that sons got killed by cops. We brought the noise. We brought the good guy out because the good guy wasn't showing up when Giuliani showed up. So then it was, if the bad guy becomes the good guy, then who the hell is the good guy? So the pastor came out, right? They had to outdo King Tone because he's the bad guy and we're the church. How do we let him shine, right? So we got the army together. And when they did that to Volpe, I remember I went to the precinct and I said, if he ever comes out here, we will take his gun, we will hog tie him, and we will bring him back to you. And while I went through all that, then I got arrested, then he got arrested. First, they put us with the same judge. So I used to go to my case and all the cops going with him and we leave in the court. And you know, like in football, motherfucker, la, la. So they had to keep us apart. And then we got sentenced. Him to 33, he copped out, he committed. Him and Schwartz were on 9 South in MCC, New York. It's 12 and I think 11, and I was in 9, the cell. But we were locked in. So I used to scream at Volpe. And Ron Kuby, who was my lawyer, if you know him, he had a radio show with Schwartz, the Guardian Angel guy, Sweetwell. And so I used to scream at Volpe. Then I used to give messages to who could call to tell my lawyer, and he used to go on the radio and say, they gave a pillow to Volpe today. Why can't King Tone get a pillow? You know, and I used to put the shit out, all right? I used to put the shit out on him. And it was funny because one day, I'll never forget, he knocked on his door and he said, Tone. I said, what you want, pig? You know, keeping it 100. What you want, pig? You know I'm getting you. He goes, you know, I don't care when, I respected him. He said, I don't care what you do to me when you do it. But my mom is hearing your show. And my mom breaks her heart because she thinks I ain't gonna make it here. He said, I ain't a punk, bro. We see each other. But just know that you hurt my family. And it made me think, right? And then one day it was funny, making sure I go to visit. My mother's there, my daughter's there, and she's holding this little angel thing. I say, who gave you that? And she points to this lady that's in the side, and it's Volpe's mother. And every time she see my daughter, she would give her an angel, another gift. And I went back, and God was saying, remember I said to myself, you know, I'm like fucked up. And God says, remember, with the measure they're going to judge, you want them to judge him? I'm going to judge you. So let's go now. How much do you want him to get? And then MCC's got walls made of metal, and they had holes, and it was really corrupt, and they moved you all the time. And one day we ended up head to head in the cell. And one night, we got to talk. And he told me the real story, and I'll leave that for somewhere, and he said, that's the truth. And in my mind, I said, how many times you did the same shit to someone else. You didn't put a stick in his butt and did that foul act. But you would beat him with 3 and 4 dudes and lead him with a pumpkin head. And you lose your mind because you with the rage of the crowd and your brothers. And when you finish, you see what you left there. And you wake up and you go, wow, I regret that. What's different from him? God was working on my conscience. And what I told him was, you know what? Good luck tomorrow in your sentence. I hope we never cross paths in the jail because I want you to know I want you to make it. But I want you to know there's people like me that'll never forgive you. So your mother did, and mine forgave me. So I hope we both get what our mothers are praying for. And I say, I'm no longer your judge and jury. You know, go about your business. There's no enemy in me. And he said, thank you. And I just wished him his flowers. And I said, you know, now get the fuck out. Go do your bid like I'm going to do mine, right? Make it through the bid. But that's how it was, man. And I say that story is you never know really, like what they said, your best friend in the bunker in the war. And if you're all wearing orange, he's never not going to be a cop. You get my point? Mm-hmm. But he's a human being. And he fell short heavy. And he did something that I can't understand. But there's mothers still talking about what they couldn't understand me, blood, and others did. You get my point?
100%.
So that's how I deal with life now. And that's one of my biggest lessons while I was going through that transforming when God put me next to my greatest enemy. Mm-hmm. And he said, how much do you look like him? Act like him, talk like him? And I started dealing with myself, her and denial and foundations. So like I said, I think he's home by now.
He is home. I wanted to bring that up. How do you feel about that, him being home?
Well, I want blood home. You get my point? There's a time where you can't see if a man grew out of his mistake and change if you don't give him the chance to prove it. And if it ain't in free in a yard with other inmates, could he be compatible? Could he grow? So I'm glad his mother got her wish.
Okay.
You know, and if it was up to me, 33 years for your first crime and all that without a murder, it's a long bid. You get it? I would have kept you a little while more. You know, I would have hoped you, I hope you went through some turmoil that show you that you don't never want to come back with us. You don't belong here. I didn't belong there, and I wasn't a cop. You get what I mean? So I hope he learned that lesson, man, that you don't make the mistake twice.
No, 100%.